Happy Easter, boys and girls. Well, I have a brand new Bible verse to teach you today. And my Bible verse is actually the words of the angels when Mary went to the tomb and saw that Jesus wasn't there. The words that we're going to say for our Bible verse are the words that the angels said. And it goes like this. He is not here. He has risen. Want to try it with me? Here we go. He is not here. He has risen. And that comes from the book of Matthew, chapter 28, verse 6. So let's take a look at our calendar. Do you still remember the name of the month? Starts with the letter A, which makes the A sound. April. We're in the month of April, and the year is 2020. Well, we're in the third week of April, and we're right down here at this box. We're right in the middle of the week. If we go up, it tells us what day of the week it is. Can you figure out what it is? I'll give you just a minute. Did you say Wednesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? And let's see if we can read the number. It's a teen number. Did you say 15? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. A 1 and a 5 is a 15. It's Wednesday, April 15, 2020. Now let's see what kind of calendar piece we'll put in there. Yesterday's was a bumblebee, so look up at my pattern. What comes after a bumblebee in my pattern? Did you say ladybug? If you did, you are correct. Today's a ladybug day. Well, today we're going to start a new unit, and it's the teen numbers. We learned all the numbers up to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then when we got to 10, that was the first number that has two numbers put together. It has a 1 and a 0 put next to each other, but we don't read it 1, 0. We put those numbers together and we read it 10. And then this was also the first number that filled up every single box in our 10 frame. When the 10 frame is full, you have 10. Well, today I'm going to show you the first two numbers that are the teen numbers. Do you know what comes after 10 when we count? Let me give you a running start. 8, 9, 10, 11 comes next. Well, on the number 11, we combine two ones. So we make a 1 and a 1, and when we put them next to each other, we call them 11. Can you say that number? 11. And so 11 is that whole 10 frame filled up plus one more. We had to get out a new 10 frame, and it's got one extra. So this is what 11 looks like. Can you help me count to 11? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's our full 10 frame, and one more is 11. So let me show you the next number. What's after 11? Do you need a running start? 10, 11, 12. Let's look at our 12. A 12 is a 1 and then a 2. And we don't read it 1, 2, we read it 12. Can you say it with me? 12. Let's look at this one. Is the whole 10 frame filled up? Yep, because it's bigger than 10. And then how many are filled in this next 10 frame? 2 are. Can you help me count to 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's our 10 frame. 11, 12. Or if you you want to do quick counting, you know that this is 10, so you can count 10, 11, 12. So let's see if you remember their names. What's this one called? 11. What's this one called? 12. Very good. Now, let's practice that. All right, so to practice our number 11 and 12, I found a paper for you to do today. And I've sent the link to your mom so she can print it off if you're able to. If you don't have a printer, you can just practice some of these things on a plain piece of paper. Let me show you what it wants you to do. So you're going to trace these 11s, and then this one's a dot-to-dot kind of one where you're going to stay on the dots. And then see this blank spot? You can practice doing an 11 all by yourself. Now 12 is going to be a little trickier because that too is a little bit tricky to make. But if you go nice and slow, I bet you can do it. And then trace this one and then try one all by yourself. Then you're going to count my balloons. And if you get whatever number you get, you're going to write it right there. But let me give you a hint. It's going to be one of these numbers. It's going to be 11 or 12. And then I want you to count the cupcakes and write the number right there. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be one of those two numbers you're going to get to. Then down here it says draw 11 balloons. So in this oval shape, you draw me 11 colorful balloons. And then in this oval it says draw 12 cupcakes. So you see if you can draw me 12 cupcakes there. Make them look delicious. And then down here is a number line of all those teen numbers. And it's going to start with 10. And then if you can write 11 in this box and 12 in this box, and then you can keep counting all the way to 20. See if you can do that, Paige. Well, in celebration of Easter, I've got a great Easter story for you. It's called The Parable of the Lily by Liz Curtis Higgs and illustrated by Nancy Munger. This book is kind of like that pumpkin patch book we read when we went out to the pumpkin patch. It's the same author, so I hope you enjoy it. The Parable of the Lily. One wintry day, the farmer's young daughter shuffled through the snow, headed for the mailbox at the end of the lane. Brrr, it was cold. Aren't you glad we're not in winter anymore? Me too. She peered inside the mailbox and found a small white envelope. Surprise, it was addressed to her. It's always fun to get mail. Dear Maggie, the letter began, I'm sending a very special gift just for you. Look for it soon. Maggie loved getting presents, especially a gift as mysterious as this one. When would it come? Who was it from? What would it be? Well, the farmer's daughter waited and waited, some days patiently, some days not so patiently. Do you remember that word patient? We've talked about that. It's being able to wait. When you're expecting a gift, it's very hard to wait. But then one very ordinary afternoon, a box appeared on the doorstep. The gift had arrived. The cat's checking it out. The farmer watched as his daughter excitedly tore off the wrapping paper. He was eager to see what she thought of her present. But Maggie didn't say a word. She just stared at a small wooden crate full of dirt. Dirt was not at all what Maggie had hoped for. Poking out of the soil was a small piece of paper that told Maggie how to care for her gift. It says, hide in a cool, dark place, water as needed. When spring comes, bring it into the light. Try to guess what's in that dirt. Do you have an idea? Then she knew it must be a growing thing. Is that what you were thinking? Something that grows? Like a bulb that would someday bloom into a plant. Oh, here's another hint. On the box it says live plants. I think she got a plant. Oh dear, her long-awaited gift wasn't a toy or a doll or a game after all. Does she look like a happy girl? Mm-mm. The farmer could see that his daughter was very disappointed and his heart grew sad because that gift was from him. With a sigh, Maggie carried the wooden box down the steps into the darkest corner of the cellar. That's kind of like a basement. And she left it there on a shelf. Sometimes she remembered to water it, but most of the time Maggie just plain forgot. The farmer did not forget. He just waited and he watched. Spring came at last. The air was warmer and the gray skies had melted into robin's egg blue. What a welcome sight the sun was. It was time for the farmer to hoe his garden, getting the soil ready for the seeds that filled his pockets. He's got all sorts of seeds here. I see pumpkin and something green, like maybe lettuce and radishes. Springtime. Maggie wanted to help, so she marched down the cellar steps to get her own Maggie-sized gardening tools. And that's when it happened. Searching for her toolbox in the darkest corner of the cellar, Maggie knocked that forgotten crate of dirt off the shelf. Crash! The crate splintered into pieces, soil was everywhere, and the flower bulb that rolled to her feet showed no signs of life. I'll let you get a closer look at that. That is a flower bulb, and it fell out of that dirt. Look at her face. Uh-oh. What a mess. Maggie was now mad at that box and even madder at herself. She swept up the dirt and she threw away that old broken box, grumbling under her breath. And that ugly old flower bulb, she just tossed it out of the cellar, never to think of it again. Until Maggie woke up earlier than usual on Easter morning. A warm breeze blew through her bedroom window and the chirping birds seemed to call her name. Still dressed in her nightgown, Maggie tiptoed out into the garden. She was hoping to find some daffodils or tulips to decorate the table for her Easter breakfast. So she was going to go over here and pick some flowers. And that's when she saw it. The loveliest lily that God ever made was blooming on the edge of her father's flower garden. Its white petals unfolded like a trumpet. Its leaves were green with new life, and its scent was as fragrant as the most expensive perfume. Wonder where that came from. Do you have an idea? Maggie knew all at once what had happened. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry or shout with joy, so Maggie did all three at once. Wake up, everybody! Wake up! Come see! The gift is alive. That was that ugly bulb she threw out. It grew into that beautiful lily. Her family hurried out to the garden. They couldn't believe their eyes. So much beauty from such an ugly box of dirt. Well, Maggie noticed the farmer standing in the doorway, quietly watching, and his smile gave away his secret. Oh, Father, it was you who gave me that lily, Maggie squealed with delight. And suddenly her little girl's smile began to fade. Oh dear, she'd thrown away her father's gift, which without so much as a thank you. How that must have hurt him. I'm sorry, Daddy, she said, putting her little arms around his big waist. Will you forgive me? Oh, my child, the farmer whispered, hugging her tight. That's what Easter is all about. Remember that word forgiving, where Jesus takes away our sins? This father forgave her for not thanking him for that lily, just like our Father forgives us for all our sins and takes them away and washes us white as snow. The end. Happy Easter. Well, that's all for today. Goodbye, goodbye to you and you and you. Goodbye, goodbye. May God watch over you. See you next time.